Hi there, it's Friday, September 23rd. My name's Larissa. And I'm going to do a card reading here. I'm going to talk about a few things first. There's all these clips I see, all this stuff that's being put in my feed, right? Because people are upset because in schools they are teaching children, coercing children, propagandizing children to behave in sexually explicit ways, right? Talking about transgenderism in particular. Now, a few years ago, I bought a book at the museum here in Santa Cruz that was about. It was a children's book, and I sent them to family members. It was about a little boy who liked to wear dresses, right? And he liked to make dresses. Well, a little girl. There was a little girl in my familial friend slash familial circle who had expressed some interest in fashion design, clothing design, right? And I saw this as a teaching moment for anti-bullying, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of transgender people in the fashion community, and I know this having gone to art school and things, and having done participated in fashion shows with my jewelry and things. I was not teaching transgenderism. My point, and the note that I left in the book, both for her and for my nephews, was to not pick on somebody just because they were different. And that this was a type of different person that you might encounter. And I felt like that was important to talk about anti-bullying, or talking about not bullying, because I was bullied incessantly. I've been bullied incessantly my entire life. And I think it's important to recognize where it comes from. And I have been bullied by the LGBTQ alphabet community, right? Trying to persuade me, Marsha Levine of Pride, trying to persuade me and tell me, oh, you're gay or what. No, I'm not. I'm not gay. And the behaviors that I experienced, I only have only gone to one Pride event ever, and it was the transgender event, and it was because I genuinely was curious, not in a voyeuristic way, but I wanted to talk to people and hear about what their experience was. Why was this so important? Because I've known a number of transgender people, and it wasn't. About being in your face. It was just about living their life in what was authentic to them. And I'm not anti-body modification. I'm anti-glorifying this, though, and I'm anti-pushing it on children as something that is to be aspired to, because that's not right. Right? I think, and like I said, I've been bullied incessantly my entire life, and frequently by gay people. And I remember Brian Gardner in middle school. He 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 bullied me incessantly. Eventually, we became friends, and he was actually in my wedding. But he bullied me incessantly, to the point that my mother had to call his mother and tell him to back the fuck off. He used to make lewd comments to me and tell me that someday I'd want to have his babies and stuff like that. And then when I was in high school, because I wouldn't sleep with a guy, wouldn't have sex with a guy, they started saying that I was a lesbian. And um, there had already been some rumor about that, because a girl that I was friends with broke up with her bestie, right, who happened to be on the cheerleading squad, and I was friends with a lot of the guys on the football team, and her friend Mary Gundy was kind of slutty in high school, and she was mad that Sarah didn't want to hang out with her anymore, and Sarah and I were hanging out, and so she started telling people that Sarah and I were lesbians, and so that's where that started. And I'm not, and I never have been. But I was bullied. I was bullied constantly. Called Dyke in the hallway, right? And even as an adult, like I said, being bullied by the gay community. Don't you think you're gay, Larissa? Don't you think you're gay? You don't have children. You've been married how long? You don't have children. Maybe you're gay. No, I'm not gay. And so I feel like, people who have felt oppressed, and because gay people get bullied as well. I've seen that too, right? Effeminate young boys, whatever. I've seen that before, being bullied, right? Being called a pussy, being called girly. You throw like a girl, you run like a girl, right? And I'm anti-bullying, and I'm also anti pushing these gender role stereotypes on children. It's sexist, it's abusive, and it's wrong. So, if that's what people are upset about because I sent this book, it wasn't because I was trying to teach anybody how to be transgender or telling my nephews they should wear dresses. And I was very clear about that when I in the note that I wrote inside the book to both Roxy and Danny and Riley, right? I was very explicit about that. It was about anti-bullying. Sometimes you meet somebody who's a little bit different, and it's okay to be different, right? It's not okay to bully. And if I had kids, which I'm so grateful I don't, they would not be in schools, particularly in California. But I felt that way 22 years ago when we moved here and I started teaching in the schools. There was no way in hell my kids would be sitting in a California public school in an overstuffed classroom where most of the kids couldn't speak English and nobody was learning a goddamn thing. When I had to teach second graders how to use scissors, I was disgusted, right? When I had to have a fourth grader translate because 3/4 of the class couldn't speak English, I was disgusted, right? Anyway, oh, so that's what I have to say about things. I used to get prank phone calls all the time when we were living in Oakland. We were living in the cotton mills specifically. It was some very effeminate sounding male. Eat a bitch, or eat a dick, bitch. Eat a dick, bitch. Calling me like that. All right. Fuck you. Like, it must really, really suck to feel like you're in the wrong body. That must suck. Why does everybody else have to be miserable along with you? And why should insurance pay for any of it? I don't think insurance should pay for any of it. Insurance didn't pay for my tattoo, right? I had to pay for my tattoo. So you want to get your boobies cut off or your penis cut off, whatever, you should have to pay for that yourself and pay for all your goddamn hormones too. I don't want to have to pay for that shit. Right? I'm not going to pick on you. I'm not going to taunt you. I'll share a meal with you. I'll go shopping with you, whatever. Just don't expect me to pay for it. My great uncle David Leeds, his partner was transgender. Like, why is this? This isn't anything new. What's new is pushing it on children. All right, so in the center here, we have Roman numeral 9, aloneness. And forces at play. So this is the energy of the day. And remember, this isn't just for me. This is global energy. This is just the energy that exists, right? Forces at play that you may not be aware of. Reversed major arcana, abundance. So somebody's feeling like they don't have much of anything, right? And forces at play that you're probably aware of: upright zero, the Fool. This is also a major arcana. This card is traditional tarot. This icon, right, or archetype, the Fool. And the fool just keeps going without looking ahead, stepping off the edge of the cliff, going after the butterfly, without even worrying what's ahead, right? Who knows? Maybe a bird will fly up and catch him. Maybe he'll just slide down the side. Maybe he'll land in the water. Maybe he'll be fine. Maybe he won't be. And then, course of action, we have a reverse number 3, isolation. So somebody is no longer alone. This gonna move from this aloneness out of isolation and into, is another major arcana, sharing. Something else. There's all this stuff about where oh, humanity originated in Africa, and oh, humanity originated in Mesopotamia, oh, here, there, the other thing. There are so many hominid species that had to come together to create today's modern Homo sapien. When you're talking about the cradle of civilization, where the earliest civilized, evidence of record keeping and organized language and things are found, that is in Mesopotamia. But you have to understand, which is in modern day Iraq. But what you have to understand is that this planet is so old. It's so old. And our continents used to be all pushed together. So there was a time when there was no Middle East, and there was no Africa, and there was no North and South America. It was all just one big landmass, and it's constantly moving, right? And you can see where Africa used to fit in, right? Nice and neat next to South America and the Southern American coast, right? The northwest of Africa fit in there real nice and neat at one point. So, like, I get tired of hearing about the indigenous crap, too. Human beings are indigenous. Homo sapiens are indigenous to Earth, right? Ugh, I could say so much more about that. I could. My great-grandma Daisy. My great-grandma Daisy. Oh, the squirrels are having a fit over there about something. I wonder what they're doing over there. Squirrel trying to get his nut. Brody, what's the squirrels doing over there, buddy? Huh? What's the squirrels doing? What's the squirrels doing, buddy? What's the squirrels doing, Fluffy Butt? Squirrels like to pick on him. They throw their nuts at him sometimes. I had been putting out avocado pits for them. They were picking them up. They had a bunch of them squirreled away up in the tree, and they were throwing them at him. We used to have an avocado tree that was starting to grow down here from where they were throwing the avocado pits at Brody. Yeah, it's funny. Squirrels are funny. All right. Interesting. So here comes the angels, right? On top of the upright Roman numeral 9 aloneness, we have an upright 6 of fire. Victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards, right? And on top of the reversed abundance, we have an upright Queen of Air, independent, experienced, realistic, witty, objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, seeing the humor in a situation. Somebody's And on top of the Fool, we have a reversed 7 of Earth. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So this is upside down. This is reversed on top of the Fool. So this fool hasn't been thinking ahead, hasn't done their research. They're gonna be like the grasshopper, right? Grasshopper. When here we are in fall. The grasshopper hasn't put away enough food for the winter, huh? And on top of the reversed isolation, the reverse number 3, we have an upright 9. And so here we see this is an interesting interesting combination to see because 3 is the cube root of 9, right? The Hermit, Archangel Raziel. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. So somebody's going to have to take a look at themselves, aren't they? They're going to have to take a deep, deep, deep look at themselves. And the outcome, on top of the sharing, we have an upright page of water. Intuitive, sensitive, artistic, friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. Heightened psychic abilities. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Who doesn't like making a new friend, right? Oh, certainly welcome a new friend into my life. Hmm. Hmm. All right, so in the center, on top of the upright aloneness and the upright 6 of fire, victory, good news, we have an upright 33, personal power, self-empowerment. So there is a card in this deck that is the Christ consciousness card, but when the number 33 comes up, I always think about Jesus because he was crucified at 33. It was a bit of a self-empowerment, wasn't it? He was up there on that cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? I don't think he was calling out to God. I think he was talking to everybody in the crowd, all his friends, all those people out there who used to, like hanging out. My God, why have you forsaken me? Embracing his own personal power. All right. Forces at play that you may not be aware of. On top of the reversed abundance and the upright queen of air, we have a reversed 7, ancient wisdom record keeper. So somebody's not going to be keeping score anymore. Somebody's letting go of that scorecard. Well, that's a good thing. And forces at play that you may be aware of. On the upright 0, the Fool, and the reverse 7 of Earth, seeds well planted. The Fool. We have an upright 11, balancer, grounding. It's going to be a wake-up call for that Fool, isn't it? Going to be a wake-up call for that Fool. Seeds weren't so well planted, huh? And course of action. On the reversed 3 and the upright 9, we have a reverse 27, healing addictions, amethyst awakening. Oh, back to the same old, same old. Just can't let it go, can you? Just can't let it go. And the outcome on the upright sharing and the upright page of water, we have an upright 21, master healer, self-healing. So you're going to go through all of that. You're going to go through all of that and learn a little bit about yourself and heal some wounds that you got. Well, that's a pretty positive reading in my opinion. But I try not to look at things that way when I read. I try not to look at positive, negative. I just try to look at what is. I'm not looking in the future. I'm not looking in the past. I'm looking at what is in the moment. And being in the present moment is extremely, extremely beneficial. If more people were in the present moment, just think about what a different world we would live in. Anyway. Well, me and my boobs are going to go in and check on the cake I got in the toaster oven.